evening, everyone. It's been a hot minute, I know, but we are back with Power Rangers CyberStrike. I am Twitch the Person. It's been a couple of months, I know, I already said that, but nevertheless, we're back, we're here. If you don't have scheduling issues when you're playing a tabletop game, are you even playing a tabletop game? In but a moment, I'm going to unmute, introduce the cast, give you a recap of what happened, and then we shall jump right into the session. Also, just as a disclaimer, I apologize if I sound a bit snotty and nasally. I have an cold because, you know, the human body gets those, apparently. And I yearn for the day I can become anaerobic. Anyway, I'm going to unmute in the Discord now. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the next session of Power Rangers CyberStrike. We're back.
Yay. Pack your pockets, kids.
Pack your pockets, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the cast. Playing the role of our red CyberStrike Ranger, we have Chocolate Zombie.
We're going to Hoth.
At this point, the mouse can sue me. I don't care. Playing the role of our yellow CyberStrike Ranger, it's Cryptic Surgeon.
God, I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Yeah, just get them all out now. Playing the role of our blue CyberStrike Ranger, it's the Luna 13.
Again, I'm going to point out, Hoth and Dagobah are canon in Power Rangers.
It's true.
Well,
playing the role of our green
Dagobah.
Playing the role of our green CyberStrike Ranger, it's the internet's Mr. Hardluck.
Only 90s kids understand what it's like to feel like a Ren and Stimpy still frame.
That one hurt my heart.
That I feel 5 years older suddenly.
Damn. Playing the role of our Phantom Black CyberStrike Ranger, we have Rosso06.
Meow.
Also a Catman. And rounding out the team as the Proto Ranger and resident robot sentinel of Sniper Death, we have Dynamo Tom.
Beep boop.
And as always, I'm Twitch the Person. I'm your Game Master, Grid Master, Dungeon Master, and Storyteller for this game. And as I said in the opening part, if you're not dealing with scheduling conflicts, are you even playing a tabletop campaign? Ugh.
Yeah, I'd like to take a moment real quick to apologize again to everybody, because this is partially my fault because I decided to further my education.
It's fine.
And go into the one field, the one curriculum in my school that's like, you have to be there every single day.
It's fine. You know, it is what it is, and we crossed the bridge, and we're here now, so we get the sessions when we get the sessions. So, ladies and gentlemen, on the last episode of Power Rangers CyberStrike, it was kind of a cool down for the Rangers, as they dealt with the aftermath of the invasion of Smilodia and how the new forged alliance between planet Smilodia and the Grand Alliance in general going forward. To complete this overarching mission of creating a somewhat intergalactic barrier that spans the frontline planets, the Alliance and Smilodia now need to secure 3 main objectives on the front line in order to create anchor points. These 3 planets, one of which where the Rangers decided to head to, was planet Kelvis, a sub-zero planet that was used as a manufacturing zone for many of the Korovians pre and post invasion of KO-35. Not much communications has happened between the frontline planets and the Greater Alliance for a while, given the situation of the war. However, should the Rangers succeed and the other 2 teams that have been dispatched to the other 2 planets in their missions, it will give the Alliance breathing room to plan and shore up their defenses, but also enact the very first offensive against the forces of Dark Spectre. We left the Rangers in orbit of planet Kelvis, where they saw a moderate fleet of ships. And if they were to look closely, ongoing battles on the planet below. There are no enemy ships in orbit that you can see, but you can only assume that they are but a FTL jump away. We pick up the story with the Rangers deciding whether to make planetfall or dock with one of the capital ships in orbit. That is where we pick up with you.
So the best course of action, I think, is to find out what the hell's going on right now. So let's dock with one of the capital ships.
That works for me.
So what say you guys?
I'm actually going to let you take the lead on this one.
Yep,
Classic Gibbs rule, your case, your lead.
So, there's two capital ships. Both look a little worse for wear. One is a Zybrian capital ship, and the other is a Korovian capital ship.
I feel like the Zybrian ship might be the better option because it's one we're more familiar with, at least for the moment.
If you wish to hail it, that is not a problem. So you hail, you open up communication links, and it only takes a second, to which a Zybrian with graying blackish hair appears on the screen. The telltale gem in the middle of his forehead. And he identifies himself. He goes, frigate class ship. This is Commander Brannon of the Zybrian capital class cruiser.
Captain Marika Hammond, we request access to dock.
He looks to his left, just off to the left for a second. Captain Hammond, we received advance word from Commander Kruger. You have permission to dock. I'll meet you down in the hangar.
All right. Start maneuvering the ship down towards the docking area.
Yeah, it's fairly easy. The ship just, there's no need for a roll here. The ship you can kind of autopilot themselves in. Commander Brannon, obviously, from the way he was dressed and everything like that, he is a commander of the Zybrian army. So he holds. He seems to be the highest authority in this sector. The Gamma docks in this thing like that. You see a bunch of ships around. A lot of them look like transport ships. And you see a lot of, a lot of supplies and medical and combat being loaded into these ships, as well as small little escort fighters. As the Gamma lands and just you make your way out down to into the hangar bay, where you are met by Commander Brannon and two of his security detail. As Professor Daxian makes his way out, down the cargo ramp. Commander Brannon, I am Professor Daxian, and of course you have already met Captain Hammond. Allow me to introduce everyone else. This is Pro, Nova, Dwayne, Scott, and Orchid. Trust you were given... you understand why we are here. Brannon kind of just nods stiffly and says that I was informed, yes. If you'll follow me, we can take this in the briefing rooms. He's very quick and to the point, and you're getting as you walk through it, you're all getting side-eye glances from a lot of the people working here. It's a myriad of different people. Sorry if you hear barking in the background as well. My dog's outside. There's Zybrians here. There's what you can assume to be Korovians. There's an equation. There's an equation dotted here and there. There's even a couple of Syrians.
Oh.
But other than that, you just getting, that odd side eye glance as if to say, who the hell are these guys?
You'd think they would know who we are by now.
Considering that this is more of the front line, I don't think they're exactly going to be keeping up to date with their news. These people have probably had their nose to the grindstone a fair bit more. Though I am surprised to see that there are a couple of Syrians here.
Said Syrians look very battle-hardened. As a matter of fact, they're
To be expected.
Yeah. And they also aren't wearing anything SPD.
Oh, so just standard military.
They're certainly wearing armor and combat gear.
Dwayne will just keep an eye on them for now, but kind of like more out of curiosity than anything else.
You're led out of the docking bay and up into the ship proper. You can see you can see parts of the ship that are being repaired currently. It's almost as if like there hasn't long been an encounter. There's people, you see engineers running back and forth the corridors. Certain medical personnel running as well. And you're eventually brought into the telltale room where communications happen between members of higher-ranking members of the ship, or between intergalactic calls, all that kind of stuff. And Commander Brannon takes off the hat he's wearing and just places it on the table and sits down, indicating for everyone else to follow.
I do as well.
Dwayne, we'll take a seat.
Months on months of zero communications, or barely any. And color me surprised when I hear from the Alliance Command their harebrained scheme seems to be going ahead. He eyes you at this point, Dwayne. So, the Smilodians finally decided to get off their ass, eh?
Well, it took a little bit of convincing.
That's putting it mildly.
I was being polite.
I had wondered why a number of the Machine Empire ships in this sector had pulled away. A full-scale invasion of a single planet hasn't been seen since, well, the fall of KO-35.
Nova looks clearly like, yeah, you mentioned it. Thank you.
Did it help that the Machine Empire had a man on the inside in the council directing everything?
A wonderful story for another time. However, so I am to believe that you are Kruger's new advanced strike team.
That is correct.
Well, I won't sugarcoat it. If you think you're the first spandex-clad colorful fighters to come through this sector, then you're wrong. You will be the third team of Rangers I've had the pleasure to meet.
What were the other teams?
That deserves a little bit of clarification.
The Equation Rangers were here a while ago. However, the climate was too harsh for the Equation physiology. Even the ones that we have here now have to make regular trips back home to Aquitar on shift. And the second were the Astro Rangers.
Again, Nova's face, if anyone sees it, he just looks absolutely like, what? Wait, what?
Arrow is looking equally awestruck.
Okay. Context, when?
Yeah, how long ago was that?
Well, if you ask in character, you might find out.
I was asking in
That was
character.
a character.
Okay. But that he looks up at you and goes, 2 weeks before they went missing, they left here in a hurry. I don't know what they found here on the planet. But whatever it was made them leave rather sharpish. There was only one other individual that stayed. That was Prey of Triforia. Whether he's left the planet side, we don't know. We have not had contact with him since.
Okay, so this is above game.
Ooh. Because we do know what happened to him.
I was gonna say, I was about to say, out of game, do we know who Trey is?
He got mentioned, I think, like in the pilot episode. Like, the Pyramidas went down.
Yeah, Pyramidas went down.
Oof.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, Pyramidas isn't exactly going to be coming to help anytime soon.
Unless
Well,
you could use it.
So he made it off planet. Shame.
Kinda, but as in he's MIA as well.
Well, nevertheless, I'll get right to it. I don't fully believe in this plan that the higher-ups have concocted. This planet is all but lost. We're barely keeping on as it is. Our ground forces are severely underarmed. Most of our forward medical stations have been taken out and or captured.
What was the last major attack?
Last major attack occurred about 2 weeks ago. The only saving grace we've had, and it's at this point he brings up a hologram and a few videos, our scouting forces found this planetside. The videos you see are of cogs, putty patrollers, piranhatrons, salvaging broken down pieces of the cogs. It appears that the enemy has taken to salvaging the pieces of the enemies we defeat. It's almost as if they themselves are running out of resources to build.
Or they're using them for something else.
Whenever they're using them, well, is none of my concern. All I know is that the attacks have been getting harsher and harsher, and far more desperate.
Desperation means that they're getting pushed. If they're salvaging their own, I assume you've probably taken the logical conclusion of trying to track where they're probably salvaging and bringing their, shall we say, dead, no offense, orchid, their dead back to be repaired. Have you sent any artillery that way at all?
We barely have any supplies to keep our ships in orbit. We know exactly where they're taking them because they're coming from the very same places they took from us when this planet became part of the front line. As you know, planet Kelvis was a Korovian outpost set up to build ships and other military assets. However, upon finding that out, when it was invaded, they took over those main factories. Head factories were converted, and that is where the Machine Empire has been pumping out their forces ever since. We managed to take down 2, but the main one remains heavily guarded. It's nigh on impenetrable, and it is not a tactical asset. Controlled strikes have slowed down its process, and since most of the fleet seems to have retreated from this sector, and if I am to understand, took a heavy blow at the Battle of Smilodia, is the only reason that Commander Kruger seems to think this harebrained scheme will work. However, I must inform you that I cannot commit any of my men to your cause.
We aren't asking that. The key to our victory is usually us 6 working with each other. No,
we debilitate. Dwayne's going to be like, we debilitate the enemy to give you the tactical advantage.
You will see. And it's at this point he pulls out a data pad and slides it to the center. All the data of the mission that Commander Kruger expects you to pull off is here. The next schedule...
Dwayne will reach for it and then kind of pass it to Nova.
The next scheduled planetside drop is in 1 day. At this time, we will be taking supplies down to Kelvis base, whilst also evacing any and all injured personnel from the planet side here. I won't sugarcoat it. It is a hell zone down there. Some of our forward medical stations have already been evacuated. Many of the mobile army hospitals are under constant shelling. We've lost contact with numerous communication outposts. Whatever it is Kruger and his command has asked you to do, I ask only one thing. You do it fast, so that me and my men can get out of this hellhole.
Fair enough.
Striking hard and fast is what we do best.
It's at that point he stands up and nods and says, I will leave you to it. He gives you a normal military salute.
Returns it.
Yeah, and just walks out of the room. But as he leaves, he says, if you require anything, just look for my first officer. He should be able to fill you in on anything that you need. And then he's just gone.
Could I insight him?
Yeah, sure.
I guess this would just be general alertness because I don't have the insight proficiency.
Oh, forget story tracker. Story point tracker.
Mm-hmm. I got you. Oh, wait.
I should have remembered, but in my defense, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I only just remembered that myself.
This is very good, just pretty much like, I guess we'll call it like assessing his morale, and I guess in general the morale of the forces here.
Yeah, so you just kind of get a read on Brannon himself, right?
Yeah. 22.
Yeah, no, the vibe you get from him is that he's tired. And his brashness is not out of malice, but out of pragmatism.
He's seen some shit.
Yeah, like he's not in, like he doesn't care who you are or what you can do. He just cares that you don't get in the way of what he's, of his current mission, which is to hold this planet, as much as he thinks it's a lost cause. But he's keeping his morale up as much as he can, as a commander should. But he also, again, like I said, he doesn't care that you are Rangers. As he said, he has seen other Rangers and he wasn't impressed with them. He's a soldier, first and foremost. And he's just telling it like it is.
He's a realist, basically.
Yeah. But you are now left inside this room with the data and the parameters of the mission you've been sent. You know that you need this planet. You don't know what you need to do planet side. As Commander Kruger has instructed, you would be told that upon, when you arrived there. I can't remember how long it took you to get to the planet.
That was a few days.
Yeah, it was a few days, wasn't it?
About like what, 5 days or something?
I think it might have been a week
I
or
think
just
so.
under. Yeah. But yeah, you are. But you now have this data pad. Professor Daxian kind of looks over and says, "Well, I can't say I blame his demeanor. So, shall we get to it, Rangers?"
Yeah, well, we know a couple of things. We know they're salvaging parts and stashing them somewhere, and whether or not they're getting desperate or otherwise, these attacks are extremely forceful and seemingly basically happen on all sides out of nowhere. Whatever it is, we're basically gonna have to be prepared to fight when we get down there.
The salvaging of Machine Empire parts is not something new. Although to see it done in the excess amount here would suggest that they are equally as cut off from the main force as our allies here are.
I mean,
One
you did say the
good
Empire pulled out a couple of weeks ago prior to us getting to Smilodia. So that could have been their main ticket out of here.
considering that it took us 5 days to get here, that's probably meaning that they were having those forces ready for the fall of Smilodia, so we probably took the brunt of that.
This is-
So they're working with limited resources, I suspect.
It's as good a theory as any. Still, we're here now, and we have a mission. So let us see what Commander Kruger and the rest of the council wish for us to do.
So, as a question, does the datapad like hook up to the holographic display or whatnot?
Yeah, it can do.
Yeah. Nova, do you want to do the honors?
Technology roll then.
Yeah, you don't need to do a technology roll. It's very simple to just hook it up.
All right. Well, he does so then.
Yeah,
You notice that he does this without a word. Like something seems off with him. I want if anyone wants to ask why.
Nova?
Oh. Yeah. What's up?
You're a little out of it. You good?
This planet. He's right about what he said. This is one of the places that my people would build the ships. It's not just the place, or a place, it's the place. It's where I wanted to be or be transferred to if I got accepted in the program.
Ah.
I don't know why it just hit me all at once. Here.
You know, multiversal theory and all that, but there probably was a version of you somewhere that did end up here.
Maybe. But
also, I was kind of wondering about the whole mention of the Astro Rangers, and I wondered if that kind of got to you as well.
well, it didn't help, I can tell you that.
Actually, it kind of raises questions. They found something here, and then they scarpered. What was it that they found?
That's what's worrying me. Because, again, I know what type of shit they did down here. Or at least I heard rumors, I heard stories. My uncle would tell me some things now and then, but it's like, you didn't want to believe them because they seemed too far-fetched for anything we would be doing.
Just to point out here, what do you believe they did here, Nova?
Like, building like the more like combat heavy ships is what if I remember you were talking about.
Yeah, it is a military. It was set up as far away as it possibly could to try and build military assets and ships for the Alliance.
Yeah. And this ties into what we've been talking about privately, Twitch, in terms of what Nova's thing is.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to tie it all together or in story, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah. Let's just he just stops talking and activates the console, shows everything that we need.
As Nova hooks up the datapad, you get the message come through. Commander Kruger's voice comes through, and it says, "Greetings, Rangers. As you know, with the successful defense of Smilodia, and the Smilodians integrating themselves into the Alliance, we now have an unprecedented situation on our hands. If we can successfully create these shield barriers, it will give the Alliance the reprieve it needs, bolster our defenses, and then launch the first counter-offensive in the history of this war. 3 planets, here, here, and here, are the keys to this. Since you have decided to go to planet Kelvis, this is the mission that you will need to succeed in. There is a main hidden SPD communications satellite array on the planet side. Not even the normal military knows it's there. It was lost fairly early after planet Kelvis was taken. If you can restore this outpost, we can have it linked with the Smilodian ships that are en route, and have it linked with the rest of the satellites to create the barrier. Similar missions are undertaking on the other planets currently. Once you've done this, you need but send word, and the Smilodian ships will enter FTL and get to planet Kelvis as fast as they can. Several are already en route to their other destinations. Also, while you are there, if you are able to find out any information pertaining to the location of the Astro Ring or Prey of Triforia, it would be appreciated. But the main mission takes precedence. Good luck, Ranger. And as the message ends, holograms show up of the location of this communications array, everything that's going on planet side, everything that's happened up until this point. You also get a dossier of Prey of Triforia and the Astral Rangers.
Dwayne's gonna be like, I think we might have to cross out the Astro Rangers. As much as I hate to admit it, there's timeline stuff involved.
We'll deal with that
Trust me,
situation when we come to it.
Yeah, but Triforia, that's a better option to go for.
But I'm sorry, Dwayne, but I would disagree. The Astro Rangers may be MIA, but any information that we can garner on what they were doing here prior to them leaving could be of great use. And I've always had my suspicions that Prey of Triforia wasn't on Pyramidus when it was destroyed.
I'm not doubting about what the Astro Rangers are doing here, but as for finding the Astro Rangers themselves, that's timeline stuff. If another group is supposed to find them. That's what I was told.
Well, nevertheless. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
And he actually he told all of us when he came out to it too.
Yeah, because one of the things was I tried to be like, where would the Astro Rangers? And it was like, no, you're not finding that out. Another group's going to find them in the future, sort of stuff. So everything that happened in that particular interaction, I kind of told everyone.
Did I specifically say another group found them? Because
Yeah,
a while. I did. Did I? Okay.
Not that another group has found them. It's just that another group will find them in the future, and it's not us.
Okay.
That's not
So think of it as you've set up essentially Power Rangers in space.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
So it's the Earth Rangers that is going to find or come across Andros.
Yeah.
Assumedly.
Assumedly, yes.
Assumedly.
But you know what I mean from like
Yeah.
the beginning of it in space.
Yeah, timeline stuff.
Yeah.
Any information
above game, like when.
Yeah, good.
Sorry, I was like above game when Nova heard that he was sad, but it basically confirmed to him that Andros and Zane were alive, and that's all he needed to know.
Yeah. So yeah, that is so Daxian is now busy just filing away any other information that he has. And he's taking a look at everything. The coordinates for this communication station, it's in what could be considered no man's land. Outwardly, it doesn't look like a communications base. It's fairly well hidden. There's no like giant satellite dish or anything like that. It is, for all intents and purposes, it looked like it's just a destroyed building somewhere from the ravages of this war.
Maybe something subterranean, perhaps?
Is the commander still in the area?
No, he left with them.
Brannon did say that anything else you needed, you would need to contact one of his first officers.
The idea above game in my head would be like, obviously don't tell them what we know about it, but just be like, hey, what do you know about this area? And like, if there's been any major attacks in the area, that kind of thing.
Topographical stuff, enemy movements.
Info on the area, basically, yeah.
Yeah, you can get it. You'll just have to, again, you'll have to find one of the first officers to do so.
Yeah. Marika will take this info and are we in like a small like room or off the main bridge?
You are in a conference room, basically.
All right.
Not unlike many that you've seen on other capital ships.
All right. I'm gonna go find one of those first officers, see if I can get an idea of what that area is like, what we might be in for.
That's a good idea. Hey, if while you're at it, maybe ask about where the Astro Rangers did their thing. Like where would they most regularly sort of visit? Maybe we can have a search around that particular area as well.
I'm not sure.
Who knows? Maybe who knows? Maybe the two locations line up.
Possible. I'm not sure if they knew any specifics on the Astro Rangers mission, but it's worth a shot.
Anywhere they frequented will probably be a good place to do a search. I'm also kind of wondering though, but Dwayne's going to be like mumbling to himself.
Yeah. If Marika will start heading out, if anybody wants to accompany her, they can.
Nova would take one last look at the Astro Rangers on the monitor, and then follow her out with.
She'll walk out, head to like the main bridge area, and again just try to like find one of their first officers.
Yeah, you ask around as you towards the main bridge. Commander Brannon isn't there, but as you ask, one of the you assume one of the pilots, one of the bridge, one of the bridge pilots, just kind of looks up and says, "Oh yeah, over there." Goes back to what he's doing. You see,
Yeah.
you see an individual wearing again basic military Siberian military outfit. She's standing just off one of the main consoles.
Yeah, Marika will walk up to her and give her the salute.
She turns around and goes, "Oh, sorry. I was in the middle of just 1 sec. Who are you?"
Captain Marika Hammond. I'm with Commander Kruger's team.
Oh, right. Yes. Well, hello. Nice to meet you. Is there anything... Commander Brannon has already said that anything that you needed. Here. I'm First Officer Kens. La 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 la.
Nova. Also with Commander.
Right, of course.
We're all part of the same team. The rest of my team is in the conference room still. We actually wanted to talk to you. She'll bring up the map. We actually wanted to talk to you about this specific area here. If you know anything about the layout, any recent conflicts that have happened, anything we can know.
Yeah, 1 moment. Wouldn't be too difficult. Any particular reason why a team of rangers would be heading out into no man's land, if you don't mind me asking?
Marika will she obviously doesn't want to tell them the exact reason, but she just says, "Well, we got to start somewhere."
Kruger's orders were to be thorough.
No.
That's all Nova says, and then he just looks over at Marika and.
Well, all I can say is that the area that it was a civilian city. There wasn't much military action going there. It was where most of the engineers and builders would go after working in the factories. It was pretty much abandoned when word of the first invasion hit. Zero casualties as well. It was actually a very well-oiled extraction. Of course, that was before I was posted here. But that's all on the records. Anything that would have been there was scoured by the Machine Empire and our own forces.
You haven't sent any scouting parties there?
No, we've sent a few scouting parties over the region looking for survivors if they've from the front, if they're there, and usually we pick up a few stragglers that are separated from their group and their squads, but other than that, we devote a lot of our time to just holding the line. As for your question about the Astral Rangers, I was not posted here, so anything that they were doing, you'd have to ask Commander Brannon.
Sounds like he didn't really care about Ranger business from what I've talked to him about.
I wouldn't say that he doesn't care. It's more Commander Brannon has been here since the beginning.
So there's kind of a long pause of Marika of like she's somebody who takes her job seriously, so like hearing like obviously the insight she gained earlier from him of like he doesn't care that you're rangers, he just cares that you don't like get in the way of what he's supposed to be doing and all that, and there's respect for him, but she's also like the workaholic in her is kind of a little turned off by that, but she'll just kind of shake her head, of course. Do you have any reports that I could read from the area?
Certainly I can give you access. That's no problem at all. Look,
Again, thorough.
I understand that the title of a Power Ranger may mean something to a lot of people behind the front lines, but many of us here, we've been let down. 2 Ranger teams came to this planet, and while they tried, they were no help. We understand that it's something of a legendary title, of course, and you do good, but none of you have seen the front line. You go where the council tells you to go, and then you leave. Everyone else has to deal with the fallout. I will try to help you as much as I can.
Chimes in on that. Maybe we've met the Water Ranger team. I've met the Astro Rangers, but I can promise you one thing. I know what it's like to be in the front line of something like this.
Your mic keeps cutting out, Luna.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
He's just like, don't assume that we're all the same.
And I make no assumption. He kind of looks you up and down. Barovian, correct?
Yes.
So you were there when
the day that KO. One of the last people to get off the planet. As far as I'm aware, at least. I want to help.
She takes off her hat, and you notice there is no gem on her forehead. We all wish to help. My planet was destroyed as well. One of the first to fall, in fact. So I'm told. But, like I said, it's not hostility towards you. It's just pragmatism.
You've been hurt before.
I, for one, believe in this plan that Commander Kruger has cooked up. I'm technically not supposed to know, but Commander Brannon can't run this ship alone anymore. I just hope, for all our sake, that you succeed. Because many of the men and women here, I don't think they can hold out hope much longer.
He looks at her, and then at Marika, and then back at her. Well, one thing that I was always told about the Power Rangers is that we're supposed to be the bringers of hope. Maybe we can give a little bit more to you guys. Captain?
I agree. I've had an interesting transition from just military commander to Power Ranger, and I'm still getting used to it.
Well, going from a strict schedule of military to the freedom that I assume that you all have would be disorientating for anyone. Nevertheless, here are the details that you requested. I believe Commander Brannon told you that the next planetfall escort is to take place within the next 24 hours.
He did.
If you require anything else, just ask of First Officer Kenris, and I shall be able to help and assist you in any way I can. I myself will be heading planetside to relieve the First Officer on the planet. To relieve the First Officer there. So I believe we might be seeing a little bit more of each other, should fate decide. Nevertheless, I wish you good luck in whatever it is you came here to do.
Thank you.
At this point, she gets a communications call, and she goes off to deal with it, leaving the two of you there on the bridge. What are the other members of the team doing in the conference room, if I might ask?
How much other information is on the data pad at all?
It depends on what kind of information you're looking for. You've been given everything you need to know. The situation of the planet, everything that the Alliance has on the planet itself. From whatever communications have managed to get back.
What have you?
Yeah, that's all there.
Sorry, what was that?
Any information from the planet that has been communications from the planet and the ships here at Calvis that have managed to make it back to the fleet is all within the data.
Okay.
Some of it could be outdated, some of it could be jumbled, but that's just the nature of the lack of communique this far out.
Dwayne's essentially looking more for, like, in terms of, like, the battle map, as it were, to be like, where the lines are, artillery pieces, any particular gaps. Since we've got the dropship, kind of trying to find, like, maybe some safe zones to fly through, if need be. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And anything that may indicate, like, surface to air. You know what I mean? To kind of avoid anti-aircraft.
Yeah. So if to give you, I can try and give a visual here actually with the drawing tool. One sec. Freehand. So say on the planet now, the Alliance controls pretty much this small part of the southern part of the planet. The Machine Empire controls the majority of the planet. Where you need to go is somewhere in this area I would say. This is not completely accurate. This is just me giving everything else.
A rough estimate, yeah.
Yeah. So this strip along here is considered no man's land. A majority of the fighting happens in this area. There are some battles and tactical advances that happen behind the enemy line. But for all intents and purposes, the fighting is mostly on their front line and then getting carted back across no man's land.
Right. Dwayne's actually going to turn to the others. So what do you guys think?
The others being Cryptic, Dot, and Orchid.
What? Sorry, I dozed off.
So,
what were we talking about? All that, all the jargon and stuff, just kind of put me out.
Dwayne just kind of points to the map, you know, with a thumb and be like, that. Thoughts?
I mean, point me to an ass and I'll kick it.
Fair enough. Sarah?
I'd say our best bet would probably be to use the local fauna to our advantage to help us infiltrate.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. Much of this land is just a snowy, blasted wasteland.
And anything that's probably going to be surviving at those temperatures is probably not going to be friendly. Orchid, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Orchid's just like downloaded the data from a tablet and is just going through their own cross-reference with the parameters Kruger gave us to see if anything else pops up, and is not paying attention at all.
When you say that, what do you mean cross-referencing the parameters?
So we were told it's in this location and this particular stuff is parallel to what America and Nova's been found out, but is using data from the tablet to see if that matches up. Because we don't know what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, no, you don't know what Nova
So
and America
if-
just found out.
Yeah, so we were told it's roughly in this area, so I'm checking the information on the tablet for anything reported about that area.
Sure. Give me a technology roll, please. Anything that's because I can't remember what you have technology. This would be technology. That's science.
It'll just be flat technology.
Yeah, flat technology.
But I'm going to focus on it real heckin' hard.
Yeah.
You know, there's just too much information, I guess.
Yeah, there's not a lot. It's like because like it's a lot of broken communique and everything, and you're not pulling anything out. The only thing that you really understand is that it's pretty much a stalemate on this planet at the moment, and it's only really at a stalemate thanks to pure chance that they decided to pull most of their forces away to try and take over another planet.
You know, I guess I'm just kind of baffled by the pure chance of it all. And I'm just trying to make connections, the dots sifting through the data. That's what I'm currently doing.
Professor Daxian is kind of looks over at Orchid and just goes, Orchid, my dear, it doesn't well to try and download everything at once.
I'm just trying to see if by cross-referencing points anything emerges, but you are right. There's clearly too many points to try cross.
What I wish to know is why SPD put a secret communications base here? But even I knew about it, and I've been with SPD since, well, since before they were a part of the Alliance.
Dwayne kind of almost like just looks at Daxian and be like, I seem to remember there was quite a few things that you don't also remember.
Well, this could be something that SPD had prior to joining the Alliance, so it could be something that needed to be kept tight. Commander Kruger in the early days was rather paranoid about keeping his operations close to the chest.
Yeah, and considering a certain Zyberian commander, I think that paranoia was well founded.
Yes, well, nevertheless, I believe it would be in our best interest to try to avoid the front line if we can. However,
Can the Gamma do a scan from here? Would that just set off all the enemies in the area in this particular sector?
you could scan, but you probably wouldn't find any more than this data. Much more than the data that you've been provided.
I was kind of wondering if there was maybe something subterranean. Who knows?
I mean, you could try and do a subterranean scan. You probably wouldn't be able to get it from orbit. But when you make planetfall, you might be able to get more information.
Maybe we can do something with the dropship. Maybe Sigil can actually help out with that. My best money is maybe there's something subterranean. Who knows? Maybe something's going on there. SPD though.
If it's a communications array, then obviously Commander Kruger needed to keep an eye on something that here. Perhaps he was having special SPD equipment manufactured here before the Machine Empire took over, attacked the planet, in which case it could be that they were producing ship or other weapons. Still, I guess we'll find out more when and if we find this place.
Yeah. I think the dropship's going to probably be the best point of entry. Looking at all the artillery pieces, I think we can probably get a route there without the dropship without the dropship getting noticed.
Yes, if we dock the Gamma here at Elvis base, and he zooms in on that part of the planet, that Elvis base is heavily fortified. Its sister base, about a half day's flight away, or travel away even.
Do you think the Gamma could help out a little bit in terms of defense as well sometime?
Almost certainly.
Or would that be too much? Okay.
No. The Gamma, the Gamma has certainly shown its prowess in battle over the skies of Smilonia, though my heart could have done without it. Still, Kelvis base is probably our best bet. And if we were then to travel from Kelvis base to the Mirage outpost, and then from there, if we took the... Yes, that would make more sense. If we land the Gamma and then take the dropship to Mirage outpost, that from there we could travel travel to the coordinates. That way, we're unlikely to come across any and all enemy strike teams or heavy defense. And if any scout groups come across, we can deal with them thusly.
Definitely. Though I do also kind of want to think, while we're in the middle of like doing our operation, would it be worthwhile having the Gamma assist in the evacuation as well?
It would be prudent, yes. And I'm pretty sure there are a number of people who could help crew. We will have to assess the situation when we get down.
I believe the Gamma can hold up to like 20 passengers comfortably, so if push came to shove, you could get the whole command team in there.
Daxian kind of looks at you. Oh, my dear boy, I will not be on the Gamma.
I'm kind of thinking options. I mean, if push came to shove, if something was to happen to the base, for example, the Gamma could potentially be a mobile base if need be. Just an option.
I agree with you, Dwayne, but I will not be staying on the Gamma. I will be accompanying you to the communications room.
Oh.
He kind of shifts around. He shifts the data pad so that none of you have the clearance codes or clearance level to access it. If we are to get inside this place, then you will need me. I may not have known.
At this point, have come in.
Yeah. The two of you could have come back. I may not have known that this communications array was here, but it's still level 7. And Rangers you may be, but SPD you are not. He kind of said, he looks at Dwayne and Scott. Well, technically.
SPD, yes, but not like that high level. I understand. And here we are without you with a crystal.
I can hold my own fairly well. Like I said, if the plan goes well, I shall not be needed to take any combat actions. However, I trust that we will be able to do this rather smoothly.
Definitely. Let's see what do we need in terms of itinerary. Definitely some warm clothing for everyone. I'm trying to think. What kind of gear would we need?
I'll just say it because it's the most accurate I can give. This is like Planet Hoth from Star Wars. It is a...
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what would we need in terms of snow gear. How detailed do we want to be? Or is it just a case of just label it all as snow gear?
You can have it look as what you want, anything that you need.
What will we have in the way of personal heating devices?
I mean, that's a thing that you could have.
Because exposure is very much a risk on a planet like Hoth.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, our ranger suits would basically protect us in this, I'm assuming.
Your ranger suits would 100% do it. The only
but I
thing
don't think we want to go in. We don't think we want to go in there hot right this second.
No. The only thing that you don't know for sure is how the weather will affect the dropship. All of you theoretically could fly there. However, depending on the planet's weather, it would depend entirely on how it would, how you get there. You could be
I was kind of thinking like snow climbing gear or anything like ropes or anything like that we would need.
100% possible.
What I'm hearing is
what I'm hearing is that it's almost guaranteed that there's going to be some weather anomaly that will cause landing complications.
More than likely.
It could be anything on this planet that could cause any form of complications.
I mean, we could also get shot at. That's very possible.
Yeah, yes.
Like Dwayne's kind of looking for a list, and he's trying to build up like an itinerary of stuff, like just in case it is subterranean, maybe some climbing gear, ropes, snow gear, especially for you, Daxian. Since this is going to be frozen hellscape, dare I say it, flamethrowers.
Flammenwerfers?
I'm saying that in character.
No, like, no one
that's
would
it.
just chime in. You're just saying that because you just want to use one.
And I'm going to have to veto that one, Dwayne. Standard snow exploration kit will be enough.
I'm just kind of thinking more. I'm thinking more of the dropship if we have to like de-ice the thing.
I'm going to point out.
Meanwhile, outside, Marika just sneezes.
No, like, I think in character, like we just walked in, we're hearing him say that.
Yeah.
Dwayne, Twitch, will you allow this?
No, I will not. I will not allow flamethrowers. Daxi kind of looks at you, Dwayne, and just goes, "Do you realize ships have the ability to do that themselves, Dwayne?"
Arrow will look visibly downtrodden when he hears no flamethrowers.
I mean, Sigil can shift stuff with the dropship, yes, but I don't know if let's say like the landing gear happens, or I'm just trying to be prepared, especially in like an emergency situation.
We will be fine, Dwayne, I assure you.
Dwayne, you realize our guns shoot energy projectiles, right? Energy is usually heat. I think we're fine.
It's as you re-enter the room, Marika and Dwayne Dashin says, "Did you find the first officer?"
Yes.
We did.
Were they able to shed some light on our situations?
Somewhat. We got some charts and journals from their expeditions and maps of the area, and she'll like put them on the table and also like give them to Orchid to scan.
They be scanned. And I continue to cross-reference as well or as not as well as it goes.
You can give me another technology roll if you wish. That's better. Yeah, you were with a 14. You manage to get the cross-reference on everything. Everything has come through, and it corroborates everything that Marika and Nova were told. The civilian center where this communications array is, you're able to sift through some more of the data, and you find out that it was just that. It was a living sector for the engineers and the security force that was on the planet. It was a basic living colony. You also were able to corroborate that it was successfully evacuated well before any intense battling took place. But for what you know now, it is, it significantly damaged, much like a lot of the other outposts and stuff on planet side. But everything corroborates and comes through, and you're able to then confirm Professor Daxian's travel plan, as it were, that your best course of action would be to land at planet Kelvis base and then make it to Mirage Outpost before even attempting to try and plot a course to this sector.
I kind of condensed down the relevant information and put that on the projectors.
Yeah.
I have to think about the people that were living in that city. They never knew they had a secret SPD base right underneath their feet.
Well, some wouldn't have known. It corroborates with...
Only those who it would be relevant for.
It's the perfect hiding space. Of course, it was never within the plan for this planet to be found. The fact that Dark Spectre's forces even stretched this far was a shock to the Alliance.
How much you want to bet that's what the Astral Rangers found, and they found something that caused them to jump ship?
Well, we'll soon find out if they were even in that area, but that's for another time. We should... And as he says this, you're interrupted by a loud banging on the door.
Marika will open the door.
As you open the door, you come face to face with the Syrians from the hangar bay.
Dwayne's going to be like a little bit relaxed, but he's going to be like just leaning against the table.
Can we
You been
help
helped?
Yeah. There's only 3 of them. You remember there was about six of them in the hangar bay. You're not quite sure like that, but the 3 of them kind of just walk in. They're all kind of... you've seen Commander Kruger. He's got like that bluish navy silver tone to him. One of these guys is like pitch black. The other one is kind of like silverish. And the third one is kind of like a blood red color.
Out of character.
Wait.
I that's
Black Wolf, Silver Wolf, Red Wolf.
So one of them just, he kind of growls and gives like a lot of smoke. So this is Kruger's latest little pack.
Yeah,
we are.
and
Can I insight him real quick?
Same.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go for 3.
Okay, so one of you make the roll with 2-up check.
I got a D6
What?
in alertness.
Yeah, you go with it.
Well, he's a Syrian. He's definitely a Syrian, and he's looking at you as if to say, well, this is it, huh?
Word is that you guys haven't been dealt very good a hand with Power Rangers that have come through here.
The 2 behind the red Syrian laugh. Us? No. We got here a couple of weeks ago.
so what's the relationship between you and Kruger then? And Dwayne's gonna like just press the button on the pad and just turn that off while he's doing that.
You don't have to hide anything from me, Ranger.
Call it a
Right.
work superstition.
My relationship to Kruger is that I didn't agree with his little SPD notion. We Syrians should have held the line. But, you know, sometimes needs must. So Kruger went off and created his SPD, where a few of us who didn't agree went off and made our own way. This war.
And Smilodia still stands. Dwayne's got a big smug grin on his face.
So at this point, like the rebel looks and goes, "You want a medal?" He's like he's he's entirely unimpressed with what you just said.
I mean, if he's gonna bring, Dwayne's got that kind of aura about him. Like if you take the first swing, you know.
Marika will see that Dwayne, like, is Dwayne, like, intentionally trying to, like, goad him, or is he just being smug?
It's just being a cat with a dog.
Marika will just kind of give a look to Dwayne that just says, simmer down.
I mean, he did kind of defend his plan from a siege. That's kind of, sort of, really impressive. Just saying.
The amount of planets I've seen under siege from Dark Spectre and his forces. Seen 100 armies battled back and 100 armies fought. No, that's where the money's made. So, here we are.
You just said
And what-
an interesting thing there. Bounty hunters, are we?
He kind of snaps his fingers and gets a smell. Right you are there. The name's Dane. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
That name sounds familiar.
How character that name sounds familiar.
Dane thinks he's so you must think you're so great yourself then.
I don't think I'm anything. Just a guy trying to live, make his way in this God-forsaken world we live in. Or is it reality? Okay.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, looks like.
Okay, upon hearing the name, you get an instant data pop-up. Red flag. Total red flag. You know Dane. You know that he is a mercenary / bounty hunter. You know that he has worked for Lord Zed in the past. However, this is where the character diverges in our universe. You also know that Dane stuck a knife in the back of Lord Zed and betrayed him, absconding with much technology that belonged to him and Master Vile. He then went on to sell it to the highest bidder. Ever since, he hasn't crossed into that sector of the galaxy and has instead been a gun for hire, mostly against the better judgment of the Alliance, and much to the massive chagrin of Commander Kruger. So for all intents and purposes, this is not the bounty hunter, Power Ranger, butt-kicking mercenary from the Boom comic book, but one that has a chaotic neutral tendency. However you wish to relay that information, Orchid, is completely up to you.
I stay nothing, but stay hyper-vigilant.
I will say that you would not be the only one who knows who this person is, as Professor Daxian hands up And it just places the data pad down and says that I had thought you fell not too long ago. Seems you're still able to get out of Master Vile's grip there, mutt. At this point, Dane lets out just this laugh because I almost hadn't recognized you there. Well, the would-be king of a destroyed planet. Still tugging Kruger's leash, are we? Daxian just kind of, he pushes his glasses up and he's just like, that your juvenile attempt to rile me up, Dane, will avail you not. Now tell me what it is you wish from me and my team so that we can get on with this. Always and strict to the point, you royals. Well, it's just that me and my crew ended up here. At the behest of the wonderful Commander Brannon. Still, let me surprised to find a team of rangers making planetfall in just a few short hours. I do wonder why you're here, but if it has anything to do with Kruger, then it's obviously part of one of his harebrained schemes. Nevertheless, I thought I could offer you information.
What's the price, though?
Price? Ooh,
What? We can't ask a bounty hunter what his price is? Thought that's all you guys are about.
well, ship you came in looked mighty fine.
Out of the question.
Well, if the ship's off the table, how about some Alliance tech? Seems a fair trade.
Nova just looks at the other at the others in the room like, "Are you fucking really?"
What sort of tech?
Actually, Twitch, I gotta ask a question here because I'm Phantom Black.
Yep, sure.
Do I still have? I'm trying to remember because it's been a. Would I still have access? Would I still have access to whatever we need or not?
How do you mean whatever you need?
The Black Ranger perk.
Oh, the Black Ranger thing? No, that's a... how did we rule it?
You've spectrum shifted, so no, you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, we went full... Because we toyed with the idea of trying to combine the tables, if I remember correctly, but then it became too much hassle. So I just went, if you spectrum shift, you just get everything...
It's
yeah.
spectrum shift.
Yeah.
I needed that reminder because it's been a while, so...
Yeah, I was trying to remember myself. I was like, did we go with the harebrained scheme to combine the tables, or did we keep it simple for ourselves and just went...
Yeah.
Yeah, so, no, you don't. No.
Right. Like, Dwayne will just kind of... I'm going to do a diplomacy and be like... I'm sure we'll find something that might appeal to you, but no promises.
Well, that wasn't a yes or no, so I guess I'll take my...
Do I re-roll that or not? Oh, I forgot about that.
It's not a fumble, but it's a fumble and a crit. So you got the crit on the skill die, but the d20 is a fumble. So this is just a neutral kind of thing. Dane folds his arms and kind of leans just on the door frame. He says, that wasn't a yes or a no, so I think I'll take my information and keep it to myself, and we'll do what we were paid to do, and I guess you can go play hero. And as they're about to leave, the door opens and First Officer Kenris is there. Excuse me, Professor oh. Dane? Hello there. First Officer. We were just on our way out. Come on, boys. And the three Syrians leave. She closes the door, she turns to you and she's like, what did he want?
Tech for information.
Honestly, why
Yeah,
Commander...
typical bounty hunter shit.
Honestly, why the Commander and the Captains even got so desperate as to hire that lowlife, I'll never know.
That's actually what I was about to ask. Why?
I already told you. The situation here is desperate. Also, it's not the first time the Alliance has hired mercenaries.
Hey, if it's a gun pointing towards the Alliance of Evil?
Yes, however, this one I do not trust. I haven't trusted any of the mercenaries who'd hired, but this one has his own motives. He's basically using the Alliance, whatever he can, as a shield to outrun the people who are after him. As if we need another intergalactic power breathing down our necks.
You know, I'm glad they know what they are, but do they have to pick such a corny name?
As you say that, as you said that, Arrow, Kenris looks over to you and says, I highly doubt that the name is... And she kind of looks at you, almost in a with familiarity. You're from Sentai 6.
Yes, I and the kids in the school I worked at, I had helped the kids survive a machine empire siege.
Yes, I'm familiar. My family was from a Sentai 6. I grew up off-planet. And it's if you take a little bit close to her. She does have similar complexions to Arrow. I haven't seen anyone from our home planet in a while.
Oh, look at that, Arrow. You made a friend.
Hardly a friend. I'm just surprised. As I was saying before, whatever he offered you all, that don't.
We said no, don't worry.
And any information he's trying to peddle is nothing good. It'll only be second-hand anyway. Commander Brannon is the one giving him his orders. Professor Daxian, here. This is a dossier of all of the known locations planet-side of heavy artillery fire. I thought it would be prudent. I don't understand what this expedition you are going on is, and quite frankly, I don't fully want to know. However, I wish to help in any way I can. These are the safest routes across the planet. and unfortunately, the safest time to travel them is towards nightfall. It's when the Machine Empire are the least active. The worst you'd run into are scouting parties of Piranatrons and maybe the occasional putty patroller.
That's a question. How do putties react with the harsh environment?
Professor Daxon just whispered, "Oh, they are very resistant to much all climates. They are clay after all."
Yeah, but at a certain point, things are going to freeze.
First Officer Kenris looks at you and just says, "None of the ones on the planet have. In fact, some of them almost adopt an ice-like sheen. Lord knows those arm blades that they use. Some of the soldiers reported it gets very cold if they get hit."
Color me surprised.
Professor Daxian just offhandedly, "The putty patrollers are known to be very adaptive. Not unusual that they would adapt to certain climates. We ourselves have seen some. We came across ones that adapted to the jungles of Claudia. Wait, the ones with the thorns?"
Yeah, I just thought that they had like just taken the foliage onto themselves and.
Similar principle. Thank you, Officer Kenris. This is most helpful. I suppose we will be seeing you when we depart. She nods. Yes. I have to go. I have to get the medical dossiers ready. She kind of, and again, she has one last glance at you, Arrow, and says, before leaving, should any of you wish to do a little bit of exploring now on the ship, now is the time to do it. If not, we can head to the next part, which is heading planet side. I know this is a bit of an RP heavy one, but
Actually, I was kind of wondering if we could take a little bit of a bio break.
yeah, I was going to say that, or we can do a bio break. Because if not, we can bio break, and then we will head into the next part of this session.
What does everyone else want to do?
I'm okay with bio break because I do actually kind of need to pee.
I also am fine with that.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll take a small little 5-minute bio break, and then we will come back.
Okay, cool. See you in 5 minutes.
And then I'm here by myself.
You're not by yourself. I'm still here. Yep.
So
I'd like to throw a little curveball in there. I've taken a character from Boom Comics and gone, I'm gonna make it not that, because there's already one too many crazy guys trying to kill everyone. So I've taken the bounty hunter and I've made him a mercenary and given him a bit of a different character.
goes Yuja.
Can't wait to hear Kirkus' reaction when he finds out we ran into him.
I basically wanted an antithesis of Kruger, of the Kruger of our universe, and I said, well, he's there. I may as well use him. So he's there, but he's not, for all you guys know, he's not your friend. And that's all I can say. Yes, just to give context to anyone watching this on YouTube, this is basically the start of the next arc of the campaign. Of course, we've had the Green Ranger arc, we've had the Black Ranger arc. This is moving into a new one. If you haven't figured it out yet, keep trying. If you guys have figured it out, don't say anything. But yeah, it's like that, and it's also going to be the little harsher side of this universe that I have constructed. However, I have toned it down a little bit because I was like, I'm getting too Terminator end of days here. I need to tone it back a bit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if you guys can uncover some of the hidden things I've got for you here, much like I had in the previous arc.
I'm back.
I'm Cryptic.
Hello.
It's lovely to meet you.
It is a horrible, horrible pun.
I mean, it could be more. It could be more horrible than me asking Dane if that he thinks he's so great.
I've actually really enjoyed building on Dane because if you go back and look at him in the Boom comics, he really had no character beyond bounty hunter, very good at analyzing, will fight. I was like, oh, damn, I thought he was a lot more interesting than that. I was like, here's someone who's like supposed to be this, who's basically evil Kruger, and then it turns out he's not. He is literally within that universe. He's just like, I get paid, I'll do whatever it takes, I'm very smart, goodbye. I'm like, oh. Like, he's incredibly strong, and he can fight toe to toe with Power Rangers. That was his shtick. Like, he's that freaking good. But beyond that, there was nothing, and I was like, wow, what a waste of a character. But at the same time, going off things that I talked about with Tom at the end of the Beyond Evil, what was the name of it? The Dark Spectre thing of the Power Ranger comics before they released Power Rangers Prime. I was like,
Darkest Hour?
Darkest Hour, that's the one. With how rushed Darkest Hour became, I was like, I understand why a lot of these characters couldn't have had any more expansion, which is really sad.
I'm here, by the way. I never left.
Yeah, cool. I said 5 minutes, so we'll do 5 minutes. Yeah. Also, another topic, I really don't like the new Playmates toy line.
From what I've seen, it's kind of a re-release of like the flip heads, and it's like that was actually cool. I had those.
Yeah,
I love the flip heads.
Me too.
I don't get me
sold
wrong.
mine.
I love them. I love that, but they look so cheap.
But they're for kids.
I know, but I've also said it's Playmates sticking to what they do best. But the molds and the material they've used, it really looked low budget to me, anyway.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I had all 6 of the original flip heads when I was a kid. Those are the only Power Rangers toys that I owned as a child.
Same.
No, I think I had a large size putty.
Nice.
But that's it.
Not
until I was an adult did I have any other Power Rangers toys.
Yeah.
There was something I have forgotten, and it's only I've just reminded myself for the Harathi mining fork.
Harathi mining fork. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
These handheld. I was going to read it to you.
Yeah, good.
These handheld devices look like battery-powered tuning fork. Harathi miners use them to sonically vibrate crystal veins until they are loose enough to remove with little effort if used properly. All skill tests involving mining efforts or disassembling anything crystalline or mineral-based gain edge.
Yeah. It's a very
fancy.
It's a very fancy mining thing.
Yeah, I think I asked about that like way back when we was on Trek's planet, and it's like.
Yeah, but you've been
it
nowhere
might
near.
Come in handy here.
Yeah, but you've been nowhere near the Harathi planet. The only thing that you managed to get from there was the crystal grenades. Unfortunately,
also trying to ask for supplies off of people who've been in a drawn-out stalemate of a war. I don't know how much they have to give.
At this point, I'm going to say the only supply I will tell you, and this is the only supplies you are likely to be able to use are the ones you brought on the Gamma. You are very unlikely to receive anything from these people. Is everyone here?
I just got back.
Awesome.
I mean, what about like snow gilly or anything that's kind of for the winter then? Or would that be just something that we already have?
You would have already have it because once you were you chose to go to Planet Calvis, you would have been stocked up with everything that you needed on the Gamma and anything else. There's very little room. You were also given relief stuff. You can use that to your leisure. You can give it to the people at base or like that, anything else. But yeah, you were basically given everything you. What?
I'm sorry, like it's on my Foundry thing. It's like, no, the last permission to activate or to upgrade something. I'm like, I didn't activate anything. I'm on a different tab.
Yeah, it was doing that to me also. So I don't know what happened. Maybe there was an update or something that messed up with it, that messed up the sheet.
What were you trying to click?
No, like nothing. Like I'm not even on the like I have it on a different window basically.
Yeah, we're not doing anything, but the message is popping up. It just is like user lacks permission to do X.
But you can click your sheets, right? Obviously, obviously you're making rolls. So.
Yeah, we can use them.
Yeah, weird. Well, doesn't seem to be impacting anything, but yeah, cool. So we get back to it. So you have all this information now, as we come back. Again, I'll give you the option. Do you want to get any more information, Garnet, try and get any more information from around the ship? Or do you wish to move 24 hours or just before you set off a planet side? It's completely up to you guys.
I'm fine with moving on.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
I'm good with moving on.
Awesome. So you've consolidated all of your information now. Professor Daxian has had one or two meetings with the captains of the ship. Captain Brannon has been absent since you first saw him. Whenever you ask, it's told that like he's doing what he needs to prepare for everything. You've been confined more or less to the Gamma and the hangar bay since. And the air around you hasn't really changed much. People are looking at it as if to say, when are they here to help or like that? Nothing like that. There's some friendly people. The equations are happy enough. There's been some Korovian techs that have come over because they noticed the Gamma, and they've all basically along the same line of conversation. They thought it's like, we thought this thing was scrapped. We didn't even realize that the prototype was even half built, let alone in this condition.
I'll say, like, above game, Nova would have at least introduced himself and shown that he was the one basically in charge, like, holding this ship alive, basically. Or making it act like he was.
Yeah, I mean, the Gamma has received numerous, upgrades and stuff since you got it, to make it, rather than just a flyable prototype, to a space-worthy ship. But, they're all kind of like, that's... again, they're just like, it's cool to see some Korovian tech, that's doing fine like that. They're also a bit just like, so, like, you're the first Korovian who became a Power Ranger that wasn't an Astro Ranger. and and you get questions asked. You get those questions asked quite a bit as well, Nova. But other than that,
Yeah,
it's by the by. You see them all going around like that. You see a lot of medical personnel getting ready. A lot of the transport ships have been stocked up. And you're only a few hours out before planetfall happens. I'm going to take the silences that you don't have much else to say. So,
I thought you had more to say. Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
If I go silent, generally I'm like that's it. It's only a few hours before you make planetside, so whatever you choose to do now, it would be your last chance to do anything before you make planetfall. If you want to talk to anyone, if you want to get any more information that you can. You haven't seen much of Dane and his crew. You have seen that ship. But other than that, all you know is that they will be going planetside as well. You're still not 100% sure why they're going planetside, but
extra bodies.
Yep. For all you know, that's basically what they're going down for.
Dwayne would just kind of quickly see if he can find Orchid.
Orchid would just be making sure it's stocked up and then low-key kind of fussing over Daxian to make sure he's prepared to go out.
Yeah, Daxian would have told me, he said, Orchid, I have told you I am perfectly fine.
Then I'm just double checking to make sure we have all the proficient supplies, especially for you.
It's like going through, making sure I have enough supplies, like climbing kit, warm coat, making sure he has a warm coat and it fits him. Just a bit of fussing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hope I'm not exactly interrupting anything.
Daxian kind of looks up. Not at all, dear boy. Just going over the final checks of what we will need to bring.
Orchid.
Turns to face him.
And just come over here for a second. Just sit down. Please.
Takes a moment.
Daxian kind of looks at Orchid and just goes, just kind of gives her a nod and just go on. I need to find that. I'll leave you two alone. I need to go and find Pungus anyway. I don't want him scaring anyone else like he did earlier on.
They better not bully Pungus.
He got the same reaction. No. He got the same reaction as he did like that, and the situation was diffused.
Orchid tries to say something, but Daxian's already gone, and just then just goes over to Dwayne, but doesn't sit.
Yes.
I think it might just make things a little bit more comfortable, if we just sat down and Dwayne's gonna he's gonna sit in a seat, but he's gonna pull up a chair for Orchid to take.
Looks at the seat.
But this is going to be sorry, I'm going to let you go.
Why would sitting have...
It eases the mood a bit more.
An elevated position eases the mood.
Elevated position, it doesn't. Unfortunately, in this particular context, it doesn't. So. I would appreciate it if you could please sit with me.
Sits. Reluctantly sits.
Right. Now, I feel like there's something that's kind of going on. And it happened way back when we was back at my home planet. And after having a think about it, I feel like if we don't sort it out right now, that there is the potential that it could become something far more worse than what it is.
What do you think is going on?
That little argument that we had before dealing with Automaton. And then I kind of remembered what Trek said and how he basically got shafted by the entire team. And I figured, if I don't nip this in the bud and kind of sort things out between the two of us, things may go wrong.
Do you think I will follow the same path as Trek?
I don't want you to.
First, you treat me like a weapon, and now you are saying I am unstable.
No. That's what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want you to become like that. It's... how can I say? What happened with Trek was that he had something that was like a chink in his armor, and Dark Spectre got in through that. And that's something that I don't want for anyone on the team to have. I'm the person that's supposed to be able to speak to people, yet speaking with you is the hardest one of the lot. So I figured, let's hash it out. What is it that you're feeling?
I believe I stated how I felt.
Above game, I will chime in on this. Just remember what the conversation you had with Daxian as well, Tom. That Orchid and Daxian had.
Yeah.
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 Having a conversation with Daxian is all fine and good. That's not going to stop this emotional reaction.
Yeah, no. Like Daxian basically said to Orchid that this may happen at some point.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. This was an eventual certainty.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You kind of need to. Just saying it is not contextually enough. You have to explain it, let it out, and convey to me how it is that you're feeling. And to me specifically.
All our interactions so far have been you ordering me around, positioning me on the high ground, treating me as your personal sniper. I am not a turret. I am not a weapon. I said this before. Is there any context missing? I'm your kid.
A lot of those situations that you've just listed are ones that take place whilst we're in the middle of a fight. And one of the things leaders need to know is what everyone is good at and what they can do and how they can benefit the team. Everyone on this team has something that is unique to them, something that no one of the others can do. And team leaders often tend to prioritize that uniqueness.
So you are stating that you are the team leader.
My experience as team leaders elsewhere has been coming into play.
I do believe
Yes.
Captain Marika is the team leader.
She is, yes. And I'm allowing her to be that. But at the same
she
time,
gets
it's
to be
also
team leader because you allow her.
I think Scott is actually laughing in character right now. He's like trying to take this conversation seriously.
I was about to say,
but he's kind of losing his shit.
Everyone is outside the room listening to this, and Daxian just face palmed so freaking hard.
Yeah, no. If we could actually say something real, like in character, like
This is going.
Nova leads over to Arrow. He is crashing and burning on that. Should we step in?
No, this is good. Wait, America, pass the popcorn.
What? Where'd you get popcorn?
Rec room.
Damn it! Why did I think of that?
Marika is the team leader.
I'm an alertness roll for this.
You can make an alertness roll if you want. Unfortunately, because of what was just described, it's going to be quite.
Just if their outburst was so loud in any way that I could kind of hear it.
You can make an alertness roll. I'm not even going to roll
perception. I'm just going to do flat alertness.
Yeah, you can do alertness. And believe me, it's not a high check, but yeah. Oh, yeah.
That crit, you hear all of us.
Damn.
I cannot raise my voice.
Marika, are you allowed to be team leader?
Can I walk into the room?
No, she's
not.
not.
Nova just loses it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh.
Yeah, the door open, Marika will just walk in and see what's going on. I mean,
How's it going, Dwayne?
If everybody wants me to be team leader, yes.
It was my understanding that you were team leader.
And she is team leader.
Because
but I have been team.
Can I ask what this...
Enough. All of you, sit.
Does so.
The social character is failing here.
Wayne, I appreciate where your heart lies. And Orchid, as I've explained to you, Dwayne is a soldier first. Look, team leader, like that, okay, decisions made within the heat of battle are made within the heat of battle. I will agree with Orchid on some things that since she joined this team, all of you have taken her for granted. Powerful though she is still a person.
That's what I was trying to also get to, but
yeah, not very eloquently, Dwayne. I appreciate your skills in combat and that, and even your expertise when it comes to explosive devices. However, socially, well,
I'm not my dad, I know.
yes, as much as it pains me to say. If you want to get down to it, traditionally the leader of a Power Rangers team is the Red Ranger, yes. However, this team was put together for the sole purpose to try and complete missions that no other Power Rangers team could.
Very fitting considering where we are right
And since its formation, you have done just that. Sometimes it's gone a bit awry, but you have managed to come together. And I will agree with you on one thing, Dwayne. We cannot have any dissension amongst us. Any hostilities that you have towards each other end now.
Kanna just looks to Daxian.
Do you also believe that I will become like Trek?
That, Orchid, my dear, you could never fall the way that Trek did. And I also do not believe Dwayne meant it that way. I believe he's just trying to look out for you the same way he's trying to look out for the rest of the team. However, Dwayne, you cannot look out for everyone by yourself. I admire your heart and your want to make sure that everyone gets out of things alive. But you are one man. One man, a part of a team.
I am. I'm part of a team. And I want the team to succeed. But I also want, to... I do want to treat Orchid as a person. Because that's what they are. I mean, ever since, things on Smilody, I'm trying to change my words to, convey to Orchid that they have a personhood.
I believe the words you are looking for, Dwayne, is I'm sorry.
Marika just kind of just gives like the thumb jab to Daxian.
How do you mean the thumb jab?
Yeah, that.
Orchid, I'm sorry.
We cannot go forward if this tension is to rise. And Orchid, you need to understand also that some people are not good at conveying what they say. For all the information that you have and for all of the knowledge you gain, you are still young. Now I want this to end. Otherwise I will take your morphers.
above game. I'm like, oh my god, he's pulling a dad.
He's being the dad of the team now.
Dwayne kind of looked like I've said sorry.
It's
Dax-
processing.
So Dwayne's just kind of waiting on what Orchid's going to say then.
Orchid staying
Apology
silent.
accepted.
No.
But remember, if we are a team, I am not your tool.
You're not at all. I want to include you in the team.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's a tool, it's probably me. Just saying.
Seconded.
No, you're a teacher.
Rico will walk up and just kind of like go over to Orchid and kind of like put her arm around her and just be like, for what it's worth, I've never thought of you as that.
You already know my thoughts on the matter.
We all have our purposes, but we are, at the end of the day, all individuals. Daxton is right, we should treat each other as such.
For what it's worth, I haven't exactly been the best mentor. Nevertheless, we have a mission. And once we complete this mission, we can take the fight to Dark Spectre. Now,
Marika will stand up and put her fist out. Let's kick some evil butt.
Dwayne puts his hand to hers. I'm on for all that.
Nova does as well.
Scott gets some distance, gets a running start, punches everyone's fists with ferocity. Just bam. Regrets it after making contact with orchids.
I was just about to say, roll damage.
Orchid didn't put her fist up yet. Orchid was going to be the last one. So if you've done running start, I guess Orchid fist goes up just in time to connect.
Mistakes have been made.
I've gone from having no children to 6. Now then, make your last preparations. We'll be making planet side soon.
Proceeds to explode the the fist gathering.
We're a team, but we're also a family.
Let it be known that I'm actively abstaining from Vin Dieseling that moment.
So after that, tense,
Clearing the air.
That tense but tense but heartfelt moment, we shall say. Professor Daxian pulls Orchid aside just for a moment and goes, "And that, dear daughter, is what's called someone having remorse. He may not be eloquent like his father, but Dwayne's heart is in the right place."
Understood.
Did you get that drone working at all?
I can maintain a running link with it. I have been trying to go through emergency drills with it, but I do not believe it is functional enough to help in combat yet. And then I do not want to use it in combat. I believe it's best used to help that I cannot reach.
I agree. Combat functions not. However, I have a hypothesis. Follow me.
Follows.
You end up at the bridge of the ship. Just Orchid and Daxian. He has the drone in his hand. It is currently non-functional. Then, Glyph, are you there? And of course, the telltale sound of present and waiting, Professor. I have already started the subroutines. You merely need to connect the drone. Excellent. Once, my lord, these drones worked on a hive mind system, correct?
Correct. Apparently, this one is linked to me as the hive.
Precisely.
At least that is what we were attempting.
Which means that you're able to share information over long distances.
Right.
Much in the same way you are able to interface with Glyph.
Right.
If I am correct, this subroutine should give our little drone friend a little personality. Glyph, if you would. And it's at this point that Glyph
Mana.
Oh, that's... Oh, I don't want to roll 3d20. Jesus Christ. Did it again. Right, 1 sec. Ignore that. That was... a mess up. You roll that one. It was the same, 9, and then we roll 4, 9, 13, just enough. As this subroutine goes through, the drone itself whirs to life in front of you, Orchid. You don't feel any different. However, the drone now doesn't have that devoidance of intelligence, as it kind of floats around just for a second, and Daxian with a smile on his face. And then all of a sudden you hear, routine successful. This is an odd feeling.
Clear?
The drone kind of turns around to you, almost like it's like looking at you, like the little triangles of itself. It's almost, it acts like an eye. You know it's not, but it's there. Indeed, Orchid. It's me. However, I am unfamiliar with this sensation.
Just kind of tilts head.
I guess, like we talked about before, you can actually hang with me now.
I hypothesized that the Smilodians must have built these drones off the influence of one. However, that was never said by all my talks with Lyra, that it couldn't house an AI. So I developed a subroutine to transfer Glyph from the Gamma to here. And subsequently, he can, theoretically, transport himself to and from. He will be an invaluable asset to the team, and you will also no longer need to take any of the scanning tools with you on missions. Of course, I did this for my benefit as well.
What benefit do you get out of this?
I too don't have to bring a data pad.
Understood.
So as you say that, you turn and see Glyph kind of in his new body, like kind of zoom past, and then he just bonks into Pungus.
I kind of go chase after slowly, like hands up, trying to be cautious.
Yeah.
Castle, take it easy. You're getting used to your new slower form.
Well, if anything, this will be a somewhat heavy test drive, but if I'm correct, we should have all of the data from the Gamma, and we'll be able to transfer it to and from, even if there are any communication blockers. That, and I believe Glyph can pilot it remotely from wherever he is.
Can I still connect with the Glyph drone?
Yeah.
Like before when I was connecting with the drone?
Yeah.
So we are still essentially just hard linked, and I am, as you call the drones, the mother unit.
Yeah, more or less. Essentially what Daxian has done here has gone, that's essentially an empty shell. I can put something in that. And the theory was you can take Glyph and put it in this shell, and you now have access to the Gamma wherever and whenever you want. Not just you, but the Rangers in general. Glyph has now become kind of like a support aid over the battlefield, as it were. That you, Orchid, can now take control of directly. If you'd like to add that to your sheet, you can.
Okay.
But essentially what Daxian has done is provided you all with a get-out-of-jail-free card, should you need it. Because even though Glyph is in the drone, he could transfer his consciousness to and from the ship. And on that revelation, you all make your way to the hangar. You see Dane's crew loading up. Of course, he gives you a sly smirk. You see all the captains and the commander giving out orders. You see the pilots getting into their escort fighters. You see the transport ships being loaded up with other ground forces. and you depart from the capital ship and make your way to the atmosphere of Kelvis and down through the heavy snowfall that is happening currently. And as you do, you can see in the distance heavy gunfire. Some black smoke on the horizon from what you can make out through the storm. And you eventually break through the clouds, and below the port, the viewport of the Gamma, you see Elvis Base. And yes, it's a Halo art piece. But it looked so cool I had to use it.
Hey, for my arc, we used SG-1 stuff, so...
I know. But you make planetfall at Planet Kelvis. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the session ends.
Bum, 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 bum.
I know
I'm
it
kind of
wasn't...
sad that we didn't get to see Glyph, like, after that, because I would have like, wait, Glyph, is that you? That's awesome.
I mean, it's implied.
Like, Nova, I'm gonna make a canon. Like, Nova, as soon as he saw that, was super excited about that. Like, that is awesome. Good job. Congratulations on getting a body.
Not so much a body as it is a floating thing. I will say the inspiration behind it is the ghost from Destiny.
He's a glip in the shell.
Yeah. It was the ghost from Destiny. So that's my idea for it.
You know, I mean, there is Edie from Mass Effect.
Yes, Edie from Mass Effect as well, but she gets a whole body.
I mean, there is an alpha unit that's over there in the corner.
It's broken-ish. Oh God, no. No, I'm not even going to entertain that.
The alpha unit was broken beyond repair.
It was broken beyond repair,
even
yes.
if it was remade with the new parts, it wouldn't be what it was.
No.
If anything, that was mainly brought back because Orchid didn't want to leave an alpha unit behind.
It would just be, again, an empty shell. And even though the thought of me sticking sigil in it just passed, I said, nope, not going to do it. But yeah, you have now made planetfall at Kelvis Base. The session will pick up, the campaign will pick up from there. And going forward, I will say there will be light to heavy combat, but also far more investigative roles, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Well, yeah, remember, this is a stealth mission.
I would also like to say that
this is a sneaking mission.
I'd also like to say that I know it was very RP heavy, again, for a first session back after a while, but that's just how a lot of this goes. There were no hidden secret anything this session, just to let you know, but going forward, that is a system that I will be re-implementing. So if you complete certain side objectives, if you come across them, there might be a reward. However, it's not going to be something that I explicitly say, hey, this is a side option, go do this. It's just something there. But yes, thank you all for playing. I know it's we've gone on a little bit later, but that's because I don't have work in the morning, and I can go on a little bit later on a Friday. As for when
next time we'll remember our time zones.
Yeah, I didn't realize you guys had daylight savings already. Like, we haven't had it in the UK yet. But
yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. But anywho, thank you guys for playing, as always. It is very highly appreciated. I know we haven't had a session for ages, but it is que sera sera, in most cases. But yeah, so if while I look to see if there's anyone online, I hope there is. Would you like to just give a small sign off? And I'll go down the list as I usually do. Choco, who are you? Where can they find you?
Hello, Choco Zombie 101. You can find me all over the social medias at some form of Choco Zombie 101. I'm here on Fridays playing Marika. Wednesdays, I'm over on Twitch.tv/Draco Magnus along with Deluna for our Curse of Strahd campaign, Barovian Odyssey. We're finishing up the Amber Temple and have to deal with Strahd just chillaxing outside waiting for us to come back. So that's going to be fun. Tuesdays, you can find myself, Deluna, and many other friends over on twitch.tv/Burnout Vaughn for Phase of Our Lives, our Wild Beyond Witchlight campaign, and that's every other week. And in our off weeks, you'll find myself, Draco, and Hoshi streaming Baldur's Gate 3 on our respective platforms. We just entered the city, and we have a murder mystery to solve. So tune in for that.
Awesome. Cryptic, who are you? Where can I find you?
I am a tiefling, and you can find me at twitch.tv/cryptic_Cyogen. Saturdays, I'm running World Domination Wrestling. We're on 2K2024. We're not switching.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Sweet. Deluna, who are you? Where can they find you? I've also found someone to raid, so.
Hello, my name is Zilla13. You can find me on Blue Sky at the 13. Basically, anywhere else you want to find me. Unfortunately, like until the internet situation that I have gets taken care of, looks like streaming is still not a thing. I thought it would be by now, but it is what it is. But like Chaco said, you'll find me on Tuesday for Phase of Our Lives on Burnout. On Wednesday, you'll find me on Draco Madness channel for Barovian Odyssey. And then Thursday, if we do a game night Thursday, you'll also find me there for that, which I'm really like. We played last night the game Rift Tracks, which was a lot of fun. The like games like those are, I think, my favorite types. So
awesome. Hardluck, who are you? Where can they find you?
Hey, I'm the internet's Mr. Hardluck. I haven't really been streaming lately. Don't know when I'm going to again. But in the meantime, I am a professional wrestler, the classiest man in the multiverse, Scott E. Stevens, and as of the end of January, one half of the Rubber City Wrestling Tag Team Champions for, real life wrestling as opposed to eFed stuff.
Lovely.
You can find me on Facebook and YouTube. Just look up Scott, middle initial E, Stevens with a PH in the middle. Go and check out my YouTube channel with a bunch of my old matches. Go watch them. They're terrible.
Big congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rosso, who are you? Where can they find you?
You can find me at Rosso Ryu pretty much on YouTube and Blue Sky. I have decided just forego X, Twitter, whatever, blah, blah. Bullshit now, anyways. And Twitch, although I haven't really been streaming there. I am Arsewell, the Undisputed Future on MNW Warzone, and I am Debug on Cryptic's WDW show. And for the character artwork that you saw at the bottom of the screen for most of the entire session, that was done by me.
Also, much of the token art you've seen in previous episodes, square ones at least, there's also Rosso. And finally, Dynamo Tom, who are you and where can they find you?
I'm Tom. You can find me here next time.
Tom is also the wonderful artist that did a lot of the art that you can see scrolling across the screen here, the slideshow, and a lot of the 3D art as well. I asked for very minimal, and they went mental. And it still absolutely baffles me to this day, but I highly appreciate it. It's fucking amazing. And also,
TV/Dynamo Tom.
Yeah. And of course, I am Twitch the person. I say it a lot that I want to stream. However, a lot of health issues burdened me at the tail end of 2024, and I've been getting back on my feet 2025. I've also gotten more work IRL like that, and I'm also in the process of getting my own vehicle. So I do plan on getting back to streams. There's a lot that I do want to stream. I want to stream myself playing Monster Hunter Wilds, not the story, because I'm playing through that myself, but I will stream that. I also want to play myself playing through Dawn Trail. I've streamed myself playing through all of the other Final Fantasy expansions. This is no different. And I also am announcing right now I have 2 other tabletop RPG projects in the works. Stay tuned for those.
Ooh.
Stay tuned for those.
So what you're saying is, don't stop the boom boom.
Don't stop the boom. One of the I will say that the neither of them are E20 related. I'm learning other systems. Well, I'm learning one other system, and I'm going to be DMing an what is it? A Dungeons and Dragons one. 5e. That's the one. 5e or whatever it's called these days, like that. But they are in the works. They're in the early planning stages, but I am getting there. But yes, we're going to go and raid Zymersite because apparently it is their birthday. We're going to go say happy birthday. Birthday. They are playing Midnight Club Street Racing, which is an old arcade game I used to play a lot when I went down to my old local arcade. So, yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Again, I apologize for the very wordy, RP heavy hard thing, but it is a setup session to the next arc. But thank you very much once again to my players. Thank you for you watching live, and thank you to you on YouTube who are watching. And I will see you next time. Take it easy, stay safe, be kind. If you can't be kind, keep it to yourself.
Hail pigeon.
Hail pigeon.
Hail pigeon.
Hail pigeon.
This was fun.